where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is The Brian Snow Show.
Final daily edition of the Brian Snow Show, and welcome to those of you that are tuning in. And I say it's the final because beginning next week it'll shift to a weekly podcast, and it is for health reasons that as I explained at the top of the show. But since it's Friday, and since I am absolutely in love with the CFL, I figure, why not have the voice of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts on with me as we talk Argonauts season, Chad Kelly's injury, and a preview against the Red Blacks. Here's the voice himself, Mike Hogan, and he joins me right now. Mike, how are you, my man? Great to have you.
Better now that I'm talking to you, Snowman. What's up?
Talk to me about this season so far. 6-1 coming into this weekend, Sunday night at BMO Field, and you only played 2 games at BMO Field so far, and you guys are rocking it.
Yeah, so far so great. I think everybody expected us to have a good record. I think everybody would have jumped up and down if we were told we were going to be 6-1 out of the box. But yeah, it's been great. Chad Kelly, there were some questions around the league. We didn't have a whole lot of them about Chad. So everything's been fantastic so far, touch wood. And we finally get a chance to play a game back at BMO Field on Sunday.
What is that like with the fans at BMO Field? You had your opener when they welcome you guys back, and what is that atmosphere like at BMO Field, being the defending champions?
Oh, it beats not being the defending champions. It's been great. We get criticized a lot, and rightfully so. We don't have very good numbers in terms of overall attendance, but I'll put our fans up against any fans in the league in terms of their passion for our team and how damn loud they get. We were actually accused by our arch rivals from Hamilton of pumping in noise into games, which just isn't true. We've got roofs over the kind of overhang the stadium.
Yeah,
that hold the noise in. And I can tell you, our broadcast location is at midfield, right at the top. And man, it gets loud up there. So if it's loud up there, I can only imagine what it's like down at field level, because our fans bring it. They're the best.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I know y'all get loud in Toronto at BMO Field. What's the difference playing at BMO as it was playing at the Sky Dome?
Well, it's a lot more compact. You could have 40,000 people at the old Rogers Center or Sky Dome, and you'd feel lost in there. And when you get small crowds under 15, 20,000, it was not good. It's a much more comfortable ballpark. It's outdoors, which I love. You get a great view of the lake, a great view of the skyline. It feels like you're in the middle of everything because you've got the lake on one side, so you get that nice cool breeze in the summer, and sometimes a little cold wind coming off in the fall and winter. You've got one of our major roads right next to the field, so you feel like you're in the middle of downtown Toronto. And it's also a natural grass surface, the only one in the Canadian Football League. So that's a home field advantage as well that maybe isn't talked about enough. We know the footwear, whether it gets a little, depending on what the track is like, the length of the cleats, our guys have gone all through that. So it can be a fairly substantial home field advantage.
I hope to have a chance sometime this season to make it up to Toronto and be in the press box and meet some people to check out an Argos game, to have that atmosphere. That's one thing I would love to do. Bring my wife up and meet you guys, and just show her the CFL, because as a lot of people know, I am a survivor of pancreatic cancer. And one thing my wife has said to me, she says, I want you to see all the stadiums that you can see. Now, I already crossed off Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. That was a wonderful anniversary present. But I want to see the stadiums in the CFL, and I particularly want to see BMO Field and take in an Argos game up in the press box. That's got to be one hell of an experience, you being the radio voice of the Argonauts.
Oh, it's great. It beats working for a living, right? Like you kind
Yes,
of,
it does.
the way I look at it is I put a lot of work into preparation. I probably use like 5% of the stuff I use in terms of preparation during the course of a broadcast.
Right.
There if I need it.
Yep.
Chris Cuthbert's a longtime broadcaster in CFL and NHL, and he once we were talking about notes and how much we kind of over prepared because he's even worse than I am in terms of over preparation.
I know it.
This is like an open book exam. Why wouldn't you bring in all your notes?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Once you've done the work, you don't have to do it during the game. All you have to do is watch the game. And I just figure I'm just describing what's going on the field.
Right.
And whoever my color commentator is, and this year it's Ben Grant, I figure it's just the two of us watching a football game and talking about it. All that's missing are the beer and nachos.
That's all that's missing. You know, Victor talked about this on my morning show, my daily morning show. He has been with me for better part of 18 years, being my engineer when I was back in Chicago. And he said, you are a madman when it comes to preparation. I said, it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. And it's like you said, Mike, it's an open book exam. Why wouldn't you have all your notes around you, from the depth chart to the trends to everything that you need that you need to have during a broadcast?
There's my play card for the offense of the Toronto Argonauts. There's my play card for the defense of the Toronto Argonauts, and I do one for the other team as well, where I can just have the offense in one hand and have the defense down on the computer in front of me, and then when they change possession, take the other team, put the offense in the hand. So I've got it right there. I've got stats, I've got notes about the person, draft, where they were drafted from, any things I found out during the week. I can just jot them down, and they're there. They're just written there. Yep. So, like I said, any idiot can do play-by-play with colored markers and some Scotch tape.
Yes, absolutely. And I got a fountain full of pens that I use.
Oh, there we go.
when I start my preparation, and my wife knows me. See, my wife forbade me to bring any more notebooks in the house. Why? And I love teasing her, but I love telling this story. Why did my wife forbid me to bring any more notebooks in the house? When we were living in North Carolina, she was at work. I slipped out and I grabbed some snacks for us, but I realized, I got to have some notebooks. I got to have some more organization to do my show and to do my play-by-play. Yeah, I got caught.
But at least you brought snacks. She couldn't be mad at you.
No, she was teasing me about it. And when she saw the notebooks on my desk, she looked at me and, I love you, Jody, gave me the white finger and said, look, you can't bring any more notebooks in the house. Bent my head in shame, playful shame. Is like, okay, I won't do it. And she says, come here, I got something to show you. I walk in her office and she points to this box, and it's full of notebooks and notepads. And she said, you cannot bring any more notebooks in the house until you use all of this.
Are you
kidding? I'm in heaven.
You got a purge.
Mike Hogan, the voice of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, joining me. All right, let's get to business. What is the update on Chad Kelly going into this weekend?
Looks good. Right after the game, Coach Dinwiddie came out, talked to the media, and said, we're pretty sure he's going to be able to go next week. His first day of practice was, what's today? Today's Friday, so we go back. Wednesday was his first day of practice. He was fine. Thursday, he practiced again, and after Thursday's practice, Coach Dinwiddie said, you know what? Yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. So we were optimistic even during the off time we had between last Friday's game and getting back to camp or getting back to practice. But he looks ready to go, which is great news because he's been as good as any team any player in the Canadian Football League this year.
Fabulous. And once he got going and took over the offense, you could point back to the Grey Cup game at Mosaic Stadium. Once he took over the offense, it just seems like the Argonauts offense has gone to another level, and the team has rallied around him. So he's really showing himself to be a leader for this Argonauts ball club.
Yeah, the question was, I think, around the league, McLeod Bethel Thompson led the league in passing last year, went down to be close to home with his family, so he went to the USFL, and Chad came over, and there really hasn't been a drop off. He's a different kind of quarterback, but he's successful. And our general manager, Michael Pinball Clemens, kind of teased at the beginning of the season, said, in the fourth quarter last year when Chad came off the bench in the Grey Cup, he scored 10 points in that quarter. We're just asking him to do that every quarter. And he's almost done it. Like, for the most part, we were averaging, I think before last week, like 37 points a game. So
yeah,
he almost had us there.
Stubbed
the toe in Calgary last week, only scored 7. So we're down. We're still over 30 points. And it's the only game that we haven't scored 30 in all year. So Chad Kelly's done a great job, as has the rest of the offense.
What, in your opinion and your view, what led to the loss in Calgary last weekend?
Just everybody was flat. You're not going to win 18 games in a regular season. Calgary was well prepared. They had a great game plan. I don't think and this is going to sound odd, but I literally don't think they threw a pass over 12 yards in the air. It was run. It was short pass. There were only 2 incompletions all day.
Right.
The only turnover came on special teams, I think. So, they did a great job offensively, and they took what the Argos were giving them and exploited it, and it didn't help that the Argos, for the first time all year, were missing tackles that normally they would make in their sleeve. So, Calgary full value, and offensively, team hit on a big touchdown, longest pass of the season for the Argos. I think it was 76 or 78 yards, and scored the touchdown. Then Chad got hurt. In came Cameron Dukes. It was his first sniff of getting, meaningful snaps in a CFL game. He's from NAIA, man. He's from Lindsey Wilson. So it's a big jump up to the CFL. And he didn't look horrible. He made a couple of passes that he wished he could have back. One was intercepted. A couple, fortunately, weren't. But, getting into the spotlight, not taking first-team reps all season, I thought he afforded himself pretty well, but with just a myriad of reasons, couldn't get into the end zone, costly turnovers. That's going to kill you every time.
Yeah, it is. It is. Mike Hogan, the voice of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, joining me here on the program. Now let's get to this. You got Ottawa coming in to BMO Field. It's a Sunday night game. Everything. The crowd's going to be crazy, and Ottawa had found their stride with Dustin Crum leading them. Now you get them. You get a healthy Chad Kelly. Give us a quick preview of this particular game.
Yeah, I think Ottawa's coming in and they're looking at the record and saying we're a better team than that. I've really enjoyed Dustin Crum, watching him play. When I'm not gonna like watching him play, when he's playing the Argos.
Right.
Like he's a guy that moves around. He can throw on the run. He'll take off and get big chunks of yardage with his legs. He's just a fun guy to watch. They've got some playmakers on that team. So, I think they're a better group of athletes than the record shows right now. And when you are in first place, when you have the best record in the CFL, when you're coming off a Grey Cup win, you have a giant bullseye on your jersey, and every team has, kind of came ready every week for the Argos, and there's no question Ottawa is as well. A win over the Red Blacks would give us pretty good margin over them, and start making the math come into play in terms of available points for them to come back, and start making it look like 500 the rest of the way for the Argos is going to be a pretty good number in terms of getting a home playoff spot. Winning the East would be a different number, but it's a big game from that aspect. And the guys are dialed in after losing last week. They don't want to extend this any more than they already have.
Mike Hogan, the voice of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, joining me here on the program, the final daily program of the Brian Snow Show. We're going to go to a weekly format. We got a lot of great interviews, and I hope to have Mike back as often as possible to talk Argos, to talk CFL. Man, brother, you have been a blessing. You have been a delight as always, and I look forward to the next time having you on. I appreciate you, my friend.
Anytime, my friend, and when you want to come up to Toronto, let me know.
I will. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Woo! What a ride. It's been an inconsistent ride. I know that, but and talking to a lot of members of the crew. Going to scale this back to a weekly show. So, and I got a lot of interviews lined up to schedule to tape, and a lot of things that I can do off the mic to make sure my health gets better. Drew Willingham asked me a question yesterday, and he said, "What did your depression doctor tell you?" He told me exactly what I needed to do, and that's to scale back everything and not take on so much. And Victor said something also that is so true, and he reminds me of it on a daily basis. When you are in autopilot, you just go through the motions. And for the last year, I've just been going through the motions. Now I'm getting my motion back. Now I'm getting my smile back. Thank you, Shawn Michaels, for that. And I'm getting everything back. It's a slow process. And scaling this down to a weekly show, which is what I originally planned, but I dove right into doing this 5 days a week, and it wore me out. It caught up with me. I realize now that it caught up with me, and doing it weekly is going to allow me to be more consistent with the show instead of trying to produce a show 5 days a week. And I cannot and will not, try to do it 5 days a week anymore after today. God bless y'all. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.